You're just trying to run your business, minding your own stuff, doing everything right, and then out of nowhere, your phone starts ringing off the hook 20 times a day, every single day. Wrong number after wrong number after wrong number. You try to fix it. You reach out to the guy causing the problem. You're polite. You're reasonable. You're patient. And then that guy, that absolute clown, looks you dead in the eye and says, "I don't care. You can't do anything." Yeah, you should not have said that. Because my dad made sure that trucking company lost everything. And he did it one phone call at a time. Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to American Sleep Tales. If you are brand new here, this is the channel where we bring you the most unbelievable, most satisfying, most jaw-dropping true stories from real people just like you and me. And today's story? Oh man, today's story is one of those ones where you start smiling halfway through and by the end you are doing a full fist pump in the air screaming yes. So if you love watching karma work in real time, go ahead and smash that like button right now. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single story. And turn on your notification bell because, trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next on this channel. Alright, you ready? Let's get into it. Let me set the scene for you. We are talking about a time period that most of you have probably never lived through. No cell phones, no internet, no Google Maps, no texting. If you wanted to communicate with someone across the country, you picked up a landline phone and you dialed. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. See, back in the day, phone calls did not work the way they do now. There was no automatic routing system, sending your call directly to whoever you were trying to reach. Instead, there were real human beings sitting at these massive switchboard panels. These people were called switchboard operators, and their entire job, their whole purpose, was to sit there all day long plugging and unplugging cables into this enormous board, manually connecting one caller to another. You would pick up your phone. An operator would answer. You would give them a 7-digit number and a city name, and they would physically connect your call to that person in that city. It was a wild system, but it worked. And for decades, that was just how the world operated, until the day everything changed. Technology started advancing fast, like really fast, and the phone companies decided it was time to modernize the entire system. They were going to phase out the switchboard operators completely. No more human middlemen, no more manually plugging in cables. Instead, they introduced something brand new: area codes. The idea was genius in theory. Every city would get its own unique 3-digit area code attached to the front of every phone number. So if you were in Toronto, your area code was 416. If you were in Ottawa, your area code was 613. Now the system could automatically route calls to the right city without needing a human operator to do it manually. Revolutionary, modern, efficient. Except, the transition did not go smoothly, not even close. And that is where my dad walked right into the middle of one of the most absurd telephone disasters you have ever heard of. My dad was a young man at the time, sharp, hardworking, entrepreneurial. He owned and operated his own pharmacy, small business, built from the ground up. Every single dollar earned through honest hard work and long hours. He was proud of that pharmacy. It was his baby, his livelihood, his entire world. And the last thing, the absolute last thing, he needed was unnecessary chaos disrupting his workday. But chaos showed up anyway, because here is what nobody warned him about. When the new area code system rolled out, my dad's pharmacy in Toronto had the phone number 416-555-5555, and somewhere up in Ottawa, a trucking company had the number 613-555-5555. Same last 7 digits. Different area codes, different cities, different businesses entirely. Under the old switchboard system, this was never a problem. You told the operator your 7 digits and your city, and they sent you to the right place every time. But now the system was automated. And here is where it got completely insane. When the new system rolled out, something went wrong in the routing. Something broke somewhere deep in the telephone network. And the result was this. Whether you dialed just the 7 digits, 555-5555, or whether you dialed the full number, with Toronto's area code, 416-555-5555, both calls went to the exact same place. My dad's pharmacy. Every single time. Now imagine you are a truck driver, sitting somewhere in Ottawa. You need to call your trucking company to get your route for the day. You dial the 7 digits you have memorized for years, and instead of reaching your dispatcher, you reach a pharmacist in Toronto who has absolutely no idea who you are or why you are calling. Confusing for the truck driver? Absolutely. But for my dad, it was a nightmare, because this was not happening once or twice. This was happening 20 times a day. 20. Every single morning that pharmacy phone would start ringing and it would not stop. Ring after ring after ring. Truck drivers calling for their routes. Dispatchers trying to coordinate shipments.
Client checking en delivery.
Suppliers trying to confirm orders. All of them, every last one of them, ending up on the phone with my dad, instead of the trucking company they were trying to reach. Now here is the thing about my dad that you need to understand. He was not a petty man. He was not a hothead. He was not the kind of person who looked for drama or conflict. He was the kind of man who believed in doing the right thing even when it cost him something. So for an entire week, a full 7 days, every single time one of those wrong number calls came through, my dad patiently picked up the phone, calmly explained that they had reached the wrong number, politely gave them the correct area code to use when calling Ottawa, and then went right back to running his pharmacy over and over and over again, 20 times a day, 7 days a week, 140 wrong number calls, all handled with grace, all handled with patience, all handled with professionalism, because that is the kind of man my dad was. But after a week of this, after 140 interruptions, the calls were not slowing down, not even a little bit, and my dad realized something important. The truck drivers were not getting the message because nobody was telling them the message. The trucking company itself had never informed their workers about the correct number to dial, and as long as nobody told those drivers, those calls were going to keep coming forever. So my dad made a decision. He was going to call the trucking company directly and handle this like a professional, man to man, business owner to business owner. He looked up the Ottawa number, dialed the correct area code, and waited. The owner picked up, and my dad, calm, professional, reasonable as always, explained the entire situation. He told the owner about the routing glitch. He explained that his pharmacy had been receiving 20 wrong number calls a day. He made it crystal clear that none of this was either of their faults. It was a telephone system error, a technical glitch during the transition to the new automated system. Nobody was to blame, but somebody needed to fix it. And the easiest, fastest, most logical solution was simple. Just tell your workers the correct number. That is it. That is all. One announcement, one memo, one phone call to your dispatchers. Problem solved for everybody. My dad finished explaining and waited for the response. And the trucking company owner said, "Well, this isn't my fault. There is something messed up in the telephone system." My dad took a breath. "Yes," he said, "I understand that completely. But you should still let your people know the right number to call. It has become a serious annoyance for me. And none of this is my fault either. I have been directing every single call back to you for an entire week. And the calls are not slowing down at all. Reasonable. Logical. Come." And the owner? The owner said, "I don't care. I am not going to tell my workers anything." My dad felt something shift inside him. That slow burn. That quiet anger that starts somewhere deep in your chest and spreads outward like heat. He kept his voice steady. "In that case," my dad said quietly, "you will be losing some business." There was a pause on the line, and then the owner laughed. Actually laughed. "PSSHD," he said. "You can't do anything." And he hung up the phone. Now I want you to really sit with that moment for a second. My dad had spent an entire week cleaning up this man's mess. 140 phone calls, 140 interruptions to his business, 140 moments of his time given freely to solve a problem he did not create. And when he reached out, politely, professionally, reasonably, asking for the bare minimum of cooperation, this man laughed at him, dismissed him, and hung up in his face. "You can't do anything." Those 4 words, those 4 arrogant, dismissive, condescending words, they hung in the air of that pharmacy like smoke. My dad set the phone down slowly. He stood there for a moment in silence, and then very quietly, he made a decision. "Okay then, if that is how you want to play this, let us play." The very next call that came in, for the trucking company, my dad did not redirect them. He did not give them the correct area code. He did not help them at all. Instead, he helped them the wrong way, perfectly, deliberately, with surgical precision. The first call came in from a truck driver. The driver was calling to get directions for a pickup he was supposed to make. He had a truck. He had a route. He just needed the address of where to pick up the merchandise. Under normal circumstances, my dad would have simply said, "Wrong number, here is the correct number to call in Ottawa." But not anymore. My dad listened carefully to what the driver was asking for, and then, in his most professional, most authoritative, most convincing business owner voice, he told that driver that the order had been canceled. "Do not make the pickup," my dad said. "The order has been canceled. Turn around and come back with an empty truck." The driver said okay and hung up. My dad put the phone down and waited for the next call. It did not take long. Ring. Another truck driver. This one was calling to report a flat tire on the highway. He needed someone to call ahead to the delivery location and let them know the shipment was going to be delayed. My dad listened patiently and then told the driver, very seriously, very professionally, "Do not make the delivery at all. Come back without dropping anything off. Bring the entire shipment back." Driver said okay. Hung up. Ring. Another call. Another driver. Another instruction that sent someone in completely the wrong direction. Day after day. Call after call. Wrong instruction after wrong instruction. Canceled orders that were not canceled. Returned shipments that were supposed to be delivered. Empty trucks driving back to base when they should have been loading up. The trucking company's entire operation was quietly, invisibly, being dismantled one phone call at a time. And the beautiful part, the absolutely poetic part, the trucking company had no idea what was happening. Their drivers were following instructions, instructions that seemed to be coming from their own company. How could they know those instructions were coming from a pharmacist in Toronto who had been told he could not do anything? From the outside, everything looked normal. Drivers were calling in, getting their instructions, following orders. The chaos was completely invisible from the trucking company's perspective, at least for a while. But you cannot run a trucking operation into the ground for a week without consequences starting to pile up. Deliveries were not being made. Clients were not receiving their shipments. Revenue was disappearing. Contracts were being jeopardized. Something was clearly wrong with the trucking company, and the cracks were starting to show. My dad kept his pharmacy running smoothly through all of this. Prescription after prescription, customer after customer, business as usual, except for those 20 daily phone calls, which he now answered with a very different agenda than before. He was not angry during those calls. He was not emotional. He was not chaotic. He was calm, methodical, almost clinical in his approach. Every wrong number call was an opportunity, and my dad was not wasting a single one. This went on for another full week. And then, the call that changed everything came in. My dad picked up the phone, like he had picked it up 1,000 times before. On the other end of the line was not a truck driver, was not a dispatcher, was not a supplier or a client. It was someone from the mayor's office. My dad felt something shift the moment he heard those words. The mayor's office. This trucking company had a contract with the mayor's office, a government contract, which meant this was not just some small potatoes local business. This company was doing work for the city itself. The person on the line was professional, polished, clearly important. They were calling to check on the status of a major shipment, wanted to know how things were progressing, wanted an estimated delivery date. And my dad did not give them an estimated delivery date. My dad did not act professional, did not act polished, did not act reasonable, because this was the moment he had been building toward all week long. In his most outraged, most offended, most furious voice, my dad unleashed. He told that government official exactly where he could go with his questions. He swore. He hollered. He told them he did not want their business. He told them he did not care about their contract. He told them to lose his number and never ever call him again. The government official on the other end was completely blindsided. What? Why are you talking to me like this? You will lose a lot of business from us. We will find someone else. And my dad, channeling every single ounce of that cold, deliberate rage, said, I don't care. I do not want your business. I do not want to hear from you again. Do not ever call this number again. We are done. And he hung up the phone. The silence in that pharmacy after that phone call must have been the most satisfying silence my dad had ever experienced in his life. He stood there, breathing, knowing exactly what was about to happen on the other end of that line. Picture it from the government officials' perspective. They hang up the phone, completely shell-shocked. They just got screamed at by what they believed was the owner of the trucking company, the company they had a major government contract with, the company they were trusting to handle important city shipments. And that company's owner just told them to get lost, told them he did not want their business, told them to never call again. That government official went straight to whoever needed to know about this development. And within, we are talking hours, the mayor's office pulled their contract with the trucking company. Gone. Just like that. A major government contract. The kind of contract that probably represented a significant chunk of that trucking company's revenue, ripped away because their own representative had screamed at a government official and told them to get lost. Except, of course, it was never their representative. It was never the trucking company owner. It was my dad, a pharmacist from Toronto, who had been told he could not do anything. The very next morning, my dad's phone was quiet. The calls had stopped. All 20 of them. Gone overnight. Just silence. Beautiful, peaceful, business-running silence. My dad stood in his pharmacy that morning and breathed it in. He never heard from the trucking company again. He never got another wrong number call. He never needed to, because whatever chaos had erupted over in Ottawa, whatever frantic phone calls were being made, whatever damage control the trucking company was desperately trying to perform, none of it was his problem anymore. It had never been his problem. He had tried to make it easy. He had tried to be reasonable. He had tried to be the bigger person for a full week straight. And when that was thrown back in his face, with a laugh and a dismissal and, for words, you can't do anything, he simply proved them wrong. Quietly, methodically, completely, one phone call at a time. And that right there, that is the moment. That is the part of this story that gets me every single time. Not the swearing, not the canceled deliveries, not even the lost government contract. It is those 4 words. You can't do anything. Said by a man who thought he was completely untouchable. said to a man who had been nothing but patient and reasonable and professional. And my dad did not yell, did not threaten, did not make a big dramatic scene. He just said quietly, "In that case, you will be losing some business." And then he went and made it happen. No lawyers, no authorities, no social media campaigns, just a phone and a plan and the patience to execute it perfectly. That trucking company owner woke up one morning and his phone went quiet, not because the problem was fixed, but because the one person his entire business had been accidentally routing through had decided enough was enough. You know what this story really teaches us? Never underestimate someone you have wronged. Never assume that just because someone is being patient, being reasonable, being the bigger person, that they do not have the power to make your life very uncomfortable. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the quietest one, the one who tried to solve things peacefully first. Because when you push that person past their limit, when you laugh in their face and tell them they cannot do anything, you have just made the biggest mistake of your life. My dad did not go looking for revenge. Revenge came looking for him. And when it showed up at his door, 20 times a day, he answered every single call. And that is a wrap on today's story, guys. If this one had you pumped up, if you were sitting there screaming yes at your screen, go ahead and smash that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the most satisfying revenge you have ever witnessed in real life? I read every single comment, and I want to hear your stories. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you even doing right now? Hit that subscribe button and join the American Sleep Tales family. I upload 2 brand new stories every single day. True stories, real people, real revenge, real justice. You do not want to miss a single one. This has been American Sleep Tales. Sleep tight. And remember, karma always finds a way. Always.